guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be testing out the Dermablend Smooth Liquid Camo Foundation. Dermablend is specifically designed for people who want really high coverage. And I know a lot of you guys have been wanting to see me try this out for a while, so I am very excited to finally be putting it to the test. Before we get started, I just want to say that I am so grateful as someone who suffered with severe acne for like a decade that there are brands out there like Dermablend who are creating products like this and products that cater to people like me. Makeup has always been a huge comfort to me. I have always loved the transformation that it has given me both physically and mentally. I used to never leave the house without makeup on, and honestly I don't know what I would have done without it. It has been such a confidence booster for me, and I know I definitely struggled with getting the coverage right when I first started wearing makeup because I used to like load on like layers of concealer and foundation and then powder foundation. My makeup has definitely looked like plaster at times in the past, so I'm really glad that there are brands out there like Dermablend that are making that flawless high coverage more easy and more attainable. But anyways, that was quite a bit of a tangent, but it's just been a while since I've talked about like why I do these videos in the first place, so I just wanted to get that out there basically. But let's talk a little bit more about this product before we get in with the application. So this product retails for $36 USD at Ulta, and then if you're a Canadian like me, it's starting to become available in different Shoppers Drug Mart locations. You get 30 ml and the packaging is just a standard black tube. It is available in 15 shades, and I have the shade Cream 10N, but they have a really great range. The Smooth Liquid Camo in particular is classified as a medium everyday coverage, and it's supposed to give your skin an ultra smooth natural finish that feels like skin. It's supposed to have 16-hour wear and provide you with 24-hour hydration. It's also supposed to have a really high concentration of pigments in it, so a little bit is meant to go a very long way. It's smudge proof, transfer proof, and water resistant as well, and has an SPF of 25. All of Dermablend's products have been dermatologist tested, so they are fragrance free, non-acnegenic, and non-comedogenic as well. Basically, this pretty much sounds like a dream product for someone with acne. I'm really excited, so let's jump into the application. Alright, so I zoomed you guys in a little bit. For those of you who don't know, I just moved, so most of my makeup is still packed away, so I just used like a priming moisturizer instead today. So I just squeezed a little bit of the foundation onto the back of my hand. It's got a pretty average liquid foundation kind of consistency, I would say. And I'm just going to start with one half of my face. I'm applying it all with the Beauty Blender today, so I'm going to dab it on and start blending it out. I'm forgetting that they say a little bit goes a very long way. I feel like I put on quite a bit, so I'm going to spread that out a little bit, but I'm only going to start with one half. Okay, wow, that has really great flawless coverage. I would definitely personally consider this more of a full coverage because it really covered up just like absolutely everything, and it like applied so flawlessly. Wow, that looks nice. Looking in the viewfinder, I think it looks really great on camera too, and the shade is honestly like a perfect match for me. So if you have a similar skin tone to me, you'll be all good. I'm gonna quickly go ahead and do the other side of my face. One layer looks like, and I'm definitely going to be only sticking with one layer for this product. I definitely agree with their claim that a little bit goes a long way, because all I ended up using was what you saw on my hand when I first squeezed it out. I don't need any more product, and like you can see, it completely covered everything. Even on my nose, where I typically have some issues building up that coverage, it covered all of the redness really well. And even with some of my other like really high coverage foundations, I would have to end up going in with more product and building it up a little bit, but this is like really flawless. So the coverage is definitely getting a thumbs up for me, which I knew it would be. I can definitely still see the texture on my face, like my bit of acne scarring in here and like my pores and everything, so I wouldn't say it's going to be like super blurring or anything, but it's not making it worse at the same time, and it's only because I'm like looking right close up to my face in a mirror from a little bit of a distance, and I think on camera my skin looks very smooth, and it does feel good on my skin as well. It feels hydrating, and even though obviously it gave a really high level of coverage, it doesn't feel like heavy or cakey on my skin in the slightest. So far I am a fan. It's still like the slightest bit tacky to the touch, so I am getting a little bit of transfer at this point, but I'm assuming it will set down, and of course I am going to be setting it with a bit of powder. I'm going to zoom you guys in and do a close-up, and then I'm going to finish off my face makeup like I usually do and talk to you guys in a moment. the Dermablend Smooth Liquid Camo Concealer, and then I also set my entire face and eye area with the Dermablend Translucent Setting Powder. I had this in my hand like 2 seconds ago, but then my phone was ringing, I went to go grab it, and I set it down somewhere, and you guys, the other half of this room seriously looks like a makeup store exploded, and I spent like 5 minutes hunting for it, but I cannot find it, so I'll insert a picture on the screen. And those two products I have been testing out for a couple weeks now, so I already know they're all good, but that is what I use for the rest of my face. No issues applying anything over top of it. One thing I will say is that I did like tap again just to see if there was any transfer picking up before setting it, and I was still getting a bit of transfer, which they do say you get the 16-hour of wear when setting it with their Dermablend powder, but on its own it didn't really set that well, so definitely something you would need to powder, I would say. I do think it looks good, but for me it's not really giving me that natural skin-like kind of finish. For me it definitely looks like I have makeup on, and that might be my fault because I did apply quite a bit of it because I just wasn't thinking, and I just like applied it like a normal foundation. I didn't apply it sparingly like I probably should have, and I am getting some creasing right in the corners of my mouth. And I don't think it looks super cakey or anything, but it's definitely like I can tell I have foundation on, and I think anybody else would, unless you're like quite a ways away from me. You guys know since I love high coverage, I personally don't mind if it like kind of looks like I have a full coverage foundation on, but just keep that in mind if that's something you're not a huge fan of. Otherwise though, it still feels great on my skin though, and the coverage is amazing. So I think that's kind of all I have to say for now. I'm going to do my close-ups, finish off my makeup, and I will be checking in with you guys throughout the day. Foundation on for 7 hours now, and I have to say I really liked it more once I had applied the rest of my face products, like my contouring and everything, which I mean is not really that surprising. Everything looks better with a complete face, but all my other products applied really well over top of it, and something with like the combination just made it look better, I think. And after about like half an hour to maybe an hour, it had just kind of like warmed up and like kind of settled into my skin a little bit better, and it just looked more natural. It didn't look so makeup-y. Like it wasn't so flat looking basically. Like even on my forehead it had a little bit more glow and a little bit more light reflection. I felt like it was looking a little bit flat at first, and that wasn't giving it that skin-like appearance, but now I think it's more natural looking that I've had it on for a while. But at the same time, I think it looks perfect. I asked James how my foundation looks, and he said flawless, so that's always a good thing. I think my skin definitely looks really perfect. I think that's all I have to say for this check-in though. Definitely gets a bit better looking with time though, at least in my experience, but I will talk to you guys at the end of the day. So I've had this foundation on for 13 hours. The only signs of wear really are the tiniest little bit along my hairline, and then also where I'm getting oily around my nose here, it has kind of like settled into the creases. But aside from those two minor things, I think it has held up extremely well. I also went to my mom's house and she was asking me what foundation I was wearing because she said it looked exceptionally good. But I'm in the mood to do some pros and cons today though. So the first pro is obviously the coverage. You guys know that all I want in a foundation is a product that is a one and done, a product that I can apply one layer and be done with it. I don't need any like spot concealing or anything like that, and I definitely feel like this foundation delivers on that. I mean, having acne prone skin and everything, I feel like that's the dream. I think that's the ideal for anyone with problem skin. And like I was saying earlier, even with some of my other really heavy duty full coverage foundations, I will still need to do a little bit of building in my like problem areas in here, but this was just really flawless with one layer. At the same time though, this really does not feel like I'm wearing a heavy foundation. The application was also great. I mean, no complaints there. I feel like anyone could apply this and make it look flawless, and I feel like it's also one of those kind of magical products that has gotten a bit better looking as the day went on. Like I feel like it looks really good right now, and who doesn't want that? A foundation that still looks great at the end of the day and gets even better looking. At first I wasn't totally in love with it, I'm not going to lie, but once I added my contour and everything and I had it on for a little bit, I think it looked really great. My only mild con is that I feel like it hasn't done much for me in terms of texture. For a foundation with the word smooth in the title, I just expected a little bit more on that front. It's not so much my pores, but I feel like in certain lighting, my acne scarring is definitely more noticeable. So if texture is a huge concern for you, I would just recommend a smoothing primer with it. I think you guys could see that in the close-ups definitely, like in this area. It was definitely just a little bit rougher looking. I also would not say it is 100% transfer proof. I don't know if you guys can see, but I have started getting quite oily again in my T-zone now that I'm done Accutane. And if I touch my face lightly, I will get get a little bit of product picking up. And I think you might be able to see here it has worn off a little bit on my nostril because my nose has been running because of my allergies. That's why I sound funny too, by the way. If my voice sounds different, it's because I'm congested. It has worn off there. With that being said though, all the other foundations I've worn this past week while my allergies have been bad, it has looked a lot worse than this at the end of the day. Usually this whole area is like bright red and has no foundation left on it. So it's pretty good in terms of transfer, but not like 100% completely transfer proof. All in all though, I am quite happy with this foundation. I can definitely see myself reaching for it on days when I want a really flawless base that is quick to apply but that won't feel heavy on my skin. For me, that's the biggest thing that's making me like this, the level of coverage without feeling super heavy. And like I said earlier in the day, it looked more makeup-y, but as it's kind of like warmed up to my skin and everything, I feel like it has taken on a more natural look. Not like super skin-like, but not like cakey at all. It's definitely a lot lighter feeling on my skin than all of my other foundations that have this kind of level of coverage. I would definitely say it's worth checking out if you have areas of concern that you want to cover or anything like that. Or honestly, if you just have like a bit of redness and uneven skin tone or anything that you want to cover for days that you want like a really perfect base that isn't going to feel heavy, because I do know a lot of girls who like a really full coverage look for certain days and like special occasions, but they don't want that like heavy cakey kind of feel. I think this would be great for you if you're someone who likes that. Once again though, I think it would be a great option if you want that like one-step kind of coverage. It will definitely simplify your routine if you're someone who does a lot of spot concealing and things like that. But I think that's it. Those are my thoughts on the Dermablend Smooth Liquid Camo Foundation. As always, I hope you guys have found this video helpful. That's the reason I do these videos. I want to help you guys out and make your guys' life a little bit easier. I test out products so you don't have to. In this case though, I'm giving it a thumbs up. I definitely think you should try it if you are interested, and it will be linked down below, of course. I'm very pleased overall though. I think it looks really great on camera too. So huge thank you to Dermablend for sending me this foundation and for sponsoring today's video and making it possible. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and go follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. I am at SARI Rihanna on all three, and hit that subscribe button down below if you are new here. But it is time to go wash my face and go to bed. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye guys.